I saw Blue Beetle too.
You're still on this?
I told you I'm doing this. I got one left. I got to do Fury of the Gods, Shazam. That's probably going to be the best one, right? I mean, it's just a mediocre.
I would think so. I didn't hear anything. Like, I didn't even realize that came out.
Yeah. That's why we recently put out the clip about Aquaman 2, and people were like, Aquaman 2 came out? I remember when Blue Beetle was like on the horizon, so too was the Marvels and the Flash and Aquaman 2. And there were like a few movies that were all, Echo was going to be coming out someday.
And then we move into Aquaman 2.
Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCEU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects.
Gods and Monsters.
Gods and Monsters.
We're still kind of living in that timeline where there's still Agatha I almost called her Harkonnen.
She didn't get married to Barry Harkonnen yet.
Agatha Harkonnen.
Days will end, Cassian Andor.
Agatha Harkness, that's still coming out, I guess. Ironheart's still coming out. Like, there's still some like these lame duck movies and shows that are coming out. But yeah, I remember we were like, oh man, poor Blue Beetle. What's that thing gonna do? Like, we got movies with name credibility that are flopping. We got Thor: Love and Thunder and Black Panther 2 not doing too hot. What's Blue Beetle gonna do?
I mean, this is me talking to you here. I'm in full goddamn control, and shit like this can happen to me. What's gonna happen to you? Because you sure as hell are a lot fucking weaker than me.
I'm not a comic book person, so the first time I heard Blue Beetle was when what's that asshole's name?
Max Landis?
Who pitches Max Landis.
The first person they attempt to recruit is a guy named Ted Kord. This is the motherfucking Blue Beetle.
His angle for it was the Blue Beetle was like a vigilante cop that kind of completely cleaned up a city.
Ted slowly, carefully played chess against the dirty cops, using his superhero identity to create the impression that basically a Batman had come to Bloodhaven. But it was just Ted in a big robot suit, outsmarting everyone.
The Blue Beetle is like a major figure in his story, whereas this is it's just Spider-Man. It's just shitty Spider-Man. Yeah. So I'll go through it with you real quick. So it's 2 hours, this thing. It's I'm not going to hate on it too much. A, because there's not enough here to hate. And B, because I've noticed that shitting on things that maybe somebody out there likes, they don't like that. Oh man, you're making fun of their video game movie, their video game show with Fallout. You got to call the.
I don't care. The show still sucks. Downvote.
We were talking about this. We were like, people get pissed when they disagree with what you said. Where the dislike button is more like a disagree button, which is kind of, it's like, oh, so you don't like. Here, listen, somebody just because they didn't agree with you. But I thought about it. I tried to be honest with myself about it. And I was like, well, I can think of times where I was watching Red Letter Media and I like those guys and I'm not likely to unsubscribe from them anytime soon. I like them a lot. But, I'd hit some review where I'm like, I'm just not aligned with you guys on this. And it kind of surpasses disagreement. And it feels more like you're culturally misaligned, or I feel like we're not relating anymore. And that's kind of what you're coming to YouTube for to some degree, is to find somebody just who you, even if you don't agree with everything they say, even if you only agree with half of what they say, you kind of are aligned and connected with the way they're thinking and talking. And so that if that comes undone, if you can't relate to what they're saying anymore, it loses its magic, That's why I kind of get it. But at the same time, I do get irritated by some of the the pushback commentary that we get, because it's very internet-y. The one that's really common is okay, I want to counter argue. Frankie called my show a piece of shit.
I thought it was a horrible piece of shit.
So I want to counter argue that. And I'm going to do that I'm going to try to dream up something he said that was contradictory, and then I'll throw that at him.
A version of tu quoque fallacy, yeah. It's you said this in the past, therefore your argument now is invalid.
Well, one was, it's you said that you can't like this show because you haven't played the games. By the way, almost, I'd say 80% of the people saying they like the show were I admit it's because I love the games. And I'm just enjoying watching the game come to life on screen. They're like, but you like the Mario movie, ergo, what? What? I can tell you that I like I can tell you the reasons I like the Mario movie. I can tell you the reasons I don't like the Fallout show.
No.
What are you on about?
Or like during the Kevin Smith discussion, they're like, you said that weed's unhealthy, but EJ's drinking whiskey. It's like, yeah, I don't think whiskey's a health food. What are you getting at?
Yeah. It's like we should be arguing about whether or not weed is unhealthy or whatever. We should be arguing about like the problems or non-problems with weed.
It's a popular line of critique in internet.
There are other forms of argument, people, besides Frankie. I don't like it because it's a video game. Also, Frankie. Oh my God, I love this video game movie. There are other arguments besides that. Anyway, back to Blue Beetle. Yeah, I won't say I hated it, but it certainly was totally unenjoyable to watch. Susan Sarandon, from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, etc. She plays like the grandma villain, like the evil grandma who's looking for, an ancient scarab, which has the Blue Beetle power, and the Blue Beetle's like an android. And like it's Iron Man because when he's in it, there's like a robot lady talking to him, and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Thrusters engaged.
It's okay. It's gonna be.
Oh, here I got one for you, Frankie. I don't like superhero movies with a blue costume, and also Frankie. Here's my wall of Power Rangers toys. Yeah, so it's Iron Man. It's Spider-Man because it's like a teenager, and he basically essentially gets bit by a beetle. I mean, that's essentially what happens here. He gets sucked into a world not his own, where there's like this like corporation that wants this power. They're trying to take over the world or something. It's that thing where he gets the suit, but he doesn't know how to control it, and so like it's controlling him, and he's like, whoa, They actually have the cockpit shot, from Iron Man. And then because he's Mexican, it's like a big Mexican family. So it's pretty similar to like the Pakistani family from Ms. Marvel. It's got that feeling to it where there's kind of these ordinary family members that are around him. And, there's a joke about like the grandma was actually like a freedom fighter. So she's, hilariously competent with like a machine gun, and no one expected that. It's that sort of humor. Grandma's a badass.
Mamá.
¡Abajo los imperialistas!
You punking my abuelita?
You talking about my abuelita?
Are you punking my abuelita?
It feels like the kind of movie that you could only possibly get away with if you were going to kind of put him on the back of Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or at least Green Lantern, somebody's ever heard of. Maybe you can get away with this a little bit. They make mention of Batman once or twice, and he like went to Gotham University, and then they make a joke that's in the trailer about how Batman was a fascist, and that's it. That's the only references really to the DCU.
Whoa, it's like Batman stuff.
Batman's a fascist.
Yeah, a movie like this would only work if it was like Ant-Man, where the universe was getting so popular that you had to see what the next thing was.
Yeah.
But since the universe was never popular or was quickly fizzled out, nobody's going to go see this.
They did the thing with where the bad guy has the same powers as him, It's like a shadow bad guy.
Like Ant-Man.
like Ant-Man, or like Black Panther, or Winter Soldier and Captain America, or Iron Man, most famously. He's like, I too will be Iron Man. They did the thing where, that in like every movie, like he's in the costume and it's like the all is lost moment, and he gets the mask half broken, and you can see like half his face through the half broken mask, that trope.
And it just sounds like superhero blender.
He tells off the bad guy at the end. He's like, "You're wrong. The love for my family doesn't make me weak. It makes me strong."
You're wrong. That love that I have for my family, that's what makes me strong.
And James Gunn said, he was like, he said Blue Beetle is the first movie in my series.
The MCU and now the DCU in film, which really doesn't start. I mean, the first DCU character for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first full DCU movie is Superman.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Does he believe that? Is he telling the truth?
He better be telling the truth. Don't be lying to me, James Gunn. Oh, there's also like the titling and some of like the musical choices go for like 80s nostalgia, like 80s like sci-fi nostalgia, and it's nowhere else to be found in the movie. I think it's maybe a marketing decision that otherwise didn't connect to the movie at all.
It was the kids like Stranger Things in the 80s.
And then like at the end of the movie, the girl goes to make out with him, and because he's got the power like inside his body, there's like that little like robot female voice that talks to him. It's like, 88% power or whatever. She's like, blood is suddenly flowing to your nether regions. And he's like, shut up.
I feel a surge of blood rushing towards your mid-region.
Stop. No, not you.
Oh.
And then they start kissing, and then like his like beetle legs come out of his back, and it's supposed to be like he's got like a beetle boner. It's fucking what?
Hot.
I remember hearing people be like, actually, I thought it was fun. Like, come on. You can't just make a mid superhero movie anymore, can you?
Yeah, you got to do something to stand out, or something to innovate, or something to at least feel something. I
thought the Deadpool Wolverine trailer looks sweet to me.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I'm totally in. Definitely gonna see that. Yeah, and I think people are ready to have fun.
Yeah,
and so I think they'll do well.
And it's characters big and colorful. Let's fucking go is the tagline. I mean, that's fun. Come on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.